So after what we saw at the 11th round, what next is in store for Anthony Joshua? Well, Kayode Alayede has more.
Welcome to Sports News. Nigeria's Professional Football League NPFL club Rivers United have signed 5 new players to bolster their squad ahead of the second round of the campaign. Striker John Odumegu has joined from NPFL leaders Plateau United, while centre-half Shedrack Francis has teamed up with the pride of Rivers from Ikorodu United. Another centre-half, Semu Liadi, has arrived at the Port Harcourt club from Akwa United, while the duo of Ifeanyi Okoye and Ayo Saka joined from Niger Tornadoes and Sunshine Stars respectively. The new recruits will be expected to help the Port Harcourt-based team turn around their fortunes, especially in the domestic league. Going abroad, Manchester City strengthened their grip on a top 4 finish in the English Premier League with a convincing 5-0 win over Crystal Palace. That moves them above Liverpool and into 3rd place on goal difference. Stoke City were forced to a 2-2 draw by Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium, while Burnley also played a 2-2 draw with West Brom at Turf Moor. Elsewhere, relegated Sunderland dented Hull City's chances of survival at the top flight with a 2-0 victory over Tigers. Super Eagles midfielder Wilfred Ndidi was on the score sheet as Leicester City guaranteed survival with a deserved 3-0 home victory over struggling Watford. In the day's last game, Swansea defeated Everton 1-0. Meanwhile, Moscow's Deputy Mayor Marashu Nukulun says upgrade work on Luzhniki Stadium, which will host the 2018 World Cup final, is complete. Final adjustments and paint work are underway at the stadium that is also referred to as the Grand Sports Arena, which hosted the 1980 Olympics. Russian organizers have repeatedly said the World Cup will be delivered as planned. World Cup matches will be held at 12 stadiums across the country. Russia won the right to host the 2018 World Cup in 2010 and developed an ambitious plan for constructing stadiums and hotels. Moving on now to boxing, Tyson Fury says he will return to the ring in July as he bids to secure an all-British showdown with heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua. Online videos have shown the 28-year-old shedding the pounds in a Marbella gym. Fury will remain in southern Spain ahead of his comeback, insisting a fight between himself and fellow unbeaten Brit Joshua is inevitable. He has not fought since he beat Vladimir Klitschko in November 2015. Spain's Rafael Nadal is back on the training court for the Madrid Open tournament. Nadal was watched by a sizable number of spectators as he served and volleyed on the training court. The Spaniard is 4th seed for the tournament behind Andy Murray, Novak Djokovic and Stan Wawrinka, but he has had a most successful 2017 so far. Apart from his 3 titles in Monaco, Barcelona and Brisbane, Nadal reached his finals at Miami, Indian Wells and the Australian Open, losing to Roger Federer in all 3. That's all in sports news. The rest of the news continues in just a moment. Stay with us.
And ahead of Sunday's second round vote, the campaign of French presidential candidate Emmanuel Macron says it has been the target of a massive hacking attack. This comes after a trove of documents was released online. The campaign says that genuine files were mixed up with fake ones in order to confuse people. It also says that it is clear that hackers want to undermine Mr. Macron. The centrist candidate will face off against far-right candidate Marine Le Pen tomorrow. And staying on in Europe, around 50,000 people in Hanover will be evacuated from their homes on Sunday, while experts defuse 5 World War II bombs. The operation is the second largest of its kind carried out in Germany, and it will affect around 1/10 of the city's population. While the buildings set to be evacuated include 7 care homes, a clinic and a Continental tire plant. Officials hope those affected will be able to return home by the evening. The evacuations will begin at 9 a.m. and residents have been asked to take necessary items like medication with them when they leave, as well as turning off gas and electrical appliances. In Latin America, a young man has been killed in the Venezuelan city of Valencia. This is amid violent protests against the rule of President Nicolas Maduro. Hester Lugo, in his early 20s, died from a head wound. Officials say he had been shot. Youths also looted shops in several cities, and in Caracas, an armored vehicle was filmed plowing into protesters.
Venezuelans are hoping for peace as at least 36 people have been killed and hundreds more injured since the protests began in early April against President Nicolas Maduro, who wants to create a new constitution. The lasting violence, with heavy casualties and looted shops in the capital, has seriously angered locals and interrupted normal life. The aspirations for peace have run higher after Maduro decreed to start a new constituent assembly approved by the National Election Board on Wednesday as part of efforts to quell the havoc. Maduro has reiterated in public that the Constituent Assembly is playing an important role in stabilizing the country and resuming dialogue. It also coincides with the opposition, who say that votes should be held first. But for most people, they just care about peace.
The
Constituent Assembly will carry out a vote to dissolve the public power in Venezuela, which is a very appeal of the opposition. So, it is a right, legal and democratic idea. I think President Maduro clearly knows the current situation. He wants peace and recognized the opposition, so he made such a decision that is in line with the democracy.
Some people also stress that both the government and opposition should resort to peace.
The president has always called for peace and worked on it. If the opposition turn to other stages, we will definitely eradicate their attempts. We will vote a Constituent Assembly.
As of now, Maduro has not yet released the details of the Constituent Assembly. But he has previously said that the assembly will be made up of 500 representatives from all walks of life, including workers, peasants and entrepreneurs.
And the main news again. Over 80 Chibok girls were today reported freed by the Boko Haram terrorists following negotiations between the representatives of the group and those of the federal government said to have been on since the past 2 days. Also today, the Department of State Services announced the arrest of the Managing Director of Capital Oil and Gas Limited, Ifeanyi Ubah, whom the agency accused of petrol theft and incitement of oil workers. The Ogun State government and the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, today announced the conclusion plan to constructing a $200 million transmission facility in the state. And that's news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for being a part of it. I'm Millicent Walker. Have a good night.